Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So today is the most auspicious day of Lord Vaman Dev's appearance, and we will see something from Srimad Bhagavatam and understand how this wonderful activities performed by Vamana Dev are so very, very interesting and so significant for us. So what I'll do is, I want to start with one excerpt from Krishna book, where Prabhupada is saying that it is said that it is the nature of a devotee to constantly apply his mind, energy, words, ears, etc. in hearing and chanting about Krishna. This is called Krishna consciousness, and for one who is wrapped in hearing and chanting Krishna, the subject matter never becomes hackneyed or old. That is the significance of transcendental subject matter in contrast to material subject matter. Material subject matter becomes stale and one cannot hear a certain subject for a long time. He wants change. But as far as the transcendental subject matter is concerned, it is called Nitya Navayamana. This means that one can go on chanting and hearing about the Lord and never feel tired, but will remain fresh and eager to hear more and more. So it's a very important thing. There are some of us who come in the morning, Sunday, and then we think, probably I've done the duty or responsibility of mine is over by coming in the morning. Now I'm free to do whatever I want in life. But Prabhupada is saying that it is the nature of the devotee to constantly apply his mind, energy, words, ears, etc. in hearing and chanting about Krishna. Actually, it is a wonderful opportunity. This human life is given for that. Unfortunately, because of our lack of taste for this, we don't find it interesting. We find it very difficult even to sit for 20 minutes, 15 minutes. But Prabhupada is saying that one should hear with rapt attention. There was one Janmashtami festival. I think it was the early years when Prabhupada was here in New York. And the Janmashtami day, Prabhupada said, okay, let us read Krishna book. And the devotees started reading Krishna book. It was midnight, close to midnight, and Prabhupada asked his devotees to read Krishna book. So they started reading the first book, Advent of Lord Krishna, and the prayers by the demigods when Krishna was in the womb of Devaki, the second chapter. So Prabhupada, so they're finishing one chapter, the next chapter, and Prabhupada is saying, next. So they went to the third chapter, and Prabhupada was in full rapt attention. Books that he has written and things that he knows well, but he is hearing with rapt attention. But all his disciples are 12:30, they are all about to sleep. Some sannyasis, the dandas are falling. But Prabhupada is very, very raptly hearing. It is mentioned, there is one instance where this Bakasura demon was killed, and Prabhupada was so happy he started clapping. You see, Nitya Navayamana means Krishna's activities and pastimes are going on every time in some universe or other. Now at 7:31 p.m. here, Krishna is performing this activity somewhere else. And a pure devotee, he is eager to hear, okay, what happened next? Oh, Krishna, also the demon called Bakasura was killed by Krishna, and the demigods are showering flowers. Prabhupada is clapping. Look at our interest. Oh my God, you give invitation, you specially invite, we'll make arrangements, the prasadam is there. Here for half an hour, 15 minutes, becomes very difficult. So this is called Nitya Navayamana. We are extremely fortunate. Half an hour, if you don't spend here, I can guarantee you it will not go in Krishna's service, it will go in somewhere else. And we don't understand the power and significance of hearing this Krishna Gatha. Anyway, we will delve directly into Lord Vamanadev and what is the significance of his appearance, because we have very limited time. We have a special arati. You can see in the altar, we have a photograph of Lord Vamanadev. Very powerful pastime, very interesting pastime. Probably apart from 10th canto and 7th canto, which talks about Narsimhadev's appearance in Prahlad Maharaj, 8th canto, where this pastime comes, it has got from 15th chapter to 23rd chapter. 8 chapters are describing about Lord Vamanadev's appearance, Lord Vamanadev's pastimes. If you have to speak about Narsimhadev and you don't mention Prahlad, then probably you're talking something else. If you have to talk about Ramayana, Lord Ram, and you don't mention about Hanuman, then I don't know what you're talking about. If you're talking about Vamanadev and you forget to mention about Bali Maharaj, then I don't know what you're talking. It's a so powerful pastime, so wonderful. And whatever we are reading in Bhagavatam from here and there, we were seeing today in the morning that Vipra, Dharma, Chutashraya, you'll see all those principles are applied by these pure devotees. That's why Bali Maharaj is one of the Mahajans, one of the 12 Mahajans. So there is the devotion, determination, there is the act of surrender by Bali, and there is the reciprocation from the Lord. And that sweet relationship is the pastime that we will see, Vamanadev and Bali Maharaj's pastime. This is a beautiful song which is written by Jayadev. I want you to start with this. We will start with this. Prabhupada also wanted in appearance and disappearance day of all these avatars of the Lord, we should sing this. Chalayasi vikramane balimadbhuta vamana padanakha nirajanita janapavana keshavadhrita vamana rupa jai jagadisha hare. Chalayasi vikramane balimadbhuta vamana padanakha nirajanita janapavana keshavadhrita vamana rupa jaya jagadisha hare. Could have done one more time, but I'm worried about the time. So the meaning of this is, O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of a dwarf Brahmana, all glories to you, O wonderful dwarf. By your massive steps, you deceive King Bali, and by the Ganges water that was emanated from the nails of your lotus feet, you deliver all living beings within this world. Chalayasi vikramane bali madbhuta vamana. This is a wonderful form of a dwarf. We might have seen some dwarfs in some circus or something. They look ugly. The contours of the face are not so, not so pleasing, not so appealing. But when the Lord came as Vamana, it's Adbhuta, we have assumed the form of a dwarf Brahmana. All glories to you, O wonderful dwarf. By your massive steps, you deceive King Bali, Chalayasi. Why did the Lord deceive Bali? And by the Ganges water that has emanated from the nails of your lotus feet, you deliver all living beings within this world. That's actually the Ganges. Keshava Dhrita Bhamana Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. In the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a verse which comes which says, Vasudeva Katha Prashnaha Pumsam Strin Punatihi Bhaktram Prichakam Shrotrams Tat Pada Salilam Yatha. Like Ganges, which came because the toenail of Vamanadev, who's called Trivikrama, touched that Viraja river and it penetrated. that Ganges flows through the three worlds, the upper planetary system, the middle planetary system, and the lower planetary system, and it purifies everyone. Similarly, Vasudeva Katha Prashnaha Pumsam Strin Punatihi Bhaktaram Prachakam Shrotrims. When we are hearing Vasudeva Katha, Bhaktaram who is speaking, Shrotriyam who is hearing, and Prichakam who is asking questions, all three get purified, like the Ganges was purifying the upper, middle, and lower planetary systems. So we'll start this interesting and powerful pastimes of Vamanadev by this question of Parikshit Maharaj, which is asking in the 8th canto, 15th chapter, where he is asking, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the proprietor of everything. Why did he beg 3 places of land? You see the contradictions. The Supreme Lord is the proprietor of everything. We know this. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. Or bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Or 10.8 is what? Chaturshloki? Aham sarvasya prabhu matta sarva. Maya dhekshana prakriti suyate sacharacharam. So all these verses Krishna is telling he is the proprietor. He is the proprietor of everything. The personality of Godhead is the proprietor of everything. What was the need for him to beg 3 pieces of land from Bali? Like a poor man. Very contradictory. The Lord who is the supremely opulent, who is filled with 6 opulences, what is the need for him to ask for 3 pieces of land from Bali Maharaj like a poor man? And when he got the gift for which he had begged, why did he nonetheless arrest Bali Maharaj? Imagine somebody you have gone and you've asked for some charity. The person out of his good heart has given you whatever you wanted. Immediately after that, you are tying him. You are arresting him. It's a very contradictory thing. So 3 things. And the Lord is the supreme opulent person, Bhagavan. He is asking for 3 pieces of land from Bali, A. B, after having gotten what he asked, what he had begged for, he is arresting him. I am very much anxious to know the mystery of these contradictions. This is how this chapter begins, 8.15.1. Sukadeva Goswami said, O king, actually Sukadeva Goswami, and Prabhupada writes in the purport, this eagerness is the key to appreciate this. The degree to which we have got this degree, the eagerness to hear, to know, that much we will be absorbed in Krishna consciousness. The degree to which we don't have, that much we are aloof. We will have other things going on in our life. That eagerness, that is a very powerful thing. I wanted to understand what's going on. It's not that Parikshit Maharaj was not knowing this pastime. He definitely would have heard this. Many a times he has heard this. Still he wants to know. Still he wants to hear it from the mouth of Sukadeva Goswami. See, these are pure devotees. They are demonstrating by their own examples how much we should be inclined, interested. But what happens to us? Acha, Bhagavad Gita, you are having these classes these days. Okay. Which chapter? Chapter 1. Okay. Observing the armies in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Yeah. There's nothing in that. Krishna doesn't even talk. I have read many times. I don't need all these things. Who are we? What is our position? How puffed up we are when we discard things, thinking that, oh, I know, Bali came 3 pieces. एक पैर में ऊपर ले गया, एक पैर में नीचे चला गया, बाकी जो बचा अब उसका सर पे रख दिया, खत्म. Oh, there is so much nectar. Because our minds are distracted, because our heart is misplaced, where we have some other things going on in our lives, where we have given precedence to so many things in our heart, we don't find this interesting. We don't find it attractive. But Parikshit, by his example, is showing we have interest in other things. You start talking about some politics, somebody will be very interested. Start talking about cricket match, Bangladesh test match is coming up. Who's the team going to be? Oh, there will be so many opinions. Or there is some other things, movies, election, so many things. We can go on talking. But this, we don't develop a taste. This can give us the highest benefit. This can give us liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Yet our mind, heart, all are distracted, misplaced somewhere else. Sukadeva Goswami said, O king, when Bali Maharaj lost all his opulence and died in the fight, actually so there is this fight which always happens between the demons and the demigods, Devatas and Suras and Asuras. They always fight. What is the difference between a Sura and Asura? What is the biggest difference between a Devata and Asura? Asura doesn't want to follow the laws of God. They want to be independent. They want to become God. Whereas Suras, no matter what, even if they have aspirations, they always want to follow the laws of Lord. Simple definition. You don't have to have a big teeth, scary looking face, ugly hair, and those kind of things to be called as demon. The moment we defy the laws of the Lord, we are asuras. The moment we have turned our face away from Krishna, something has fallen here. Then we have become we have become demons, right? So there's this constant battle which happens between the demigods and the demons, and in one such fight, Bali Maharaj died. Bali Maharaj, this battle usually is won by the demigods. Bali Maharaj died, but Bali Maharaj's spiritual master Sukracharya had this powerful Sanjivani mantra. And because of that Sanjivani mantra, he could bring back life of Bali Maharaj. So he's saying, all his opulence, O king, when Bali Maharaj lost all his opulence and died in the fight, Sukracharya, a descendant of Bhrigu Muni, brought him back to life. Because of this, the great soul Bali Maharaj became a disciple of Sukracharya and began to serve him with great faith, offering everything he had. Other day, a few days back, we were having Radhastami festival, and I was telling that Radhastami, if Radharani recommends, Krishna cannot say no. Whom does Radharani recommend? If you don't have a good relationship with your authorities, and if the recommendation is not passing through to her, how will she recommend? You think that I don't need, I am directly Krishna will serve. No, it will not work. Krishna will not even look at you. It has to go through Vipra, the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas, then spiritual master, then his spiritual master, then finally it goes to Radharani, and Radharani recommends. The mercy of a Vaishnava is very important, very, very important. Because of this, the great soul Bali Maharaj became a disciple of Sukracharya and began to serve him with great faith, offering everything he had. He started serving him with everything that he had. And the effect, the result of that, you see. The Brahmana descendants of Bhrigu Muni were very pleased with Bali Maharaj, who desired to conquer the kingdom of Indra. Therefore, after purifying him and properly bathing him according to regulative principles, they engaged him in performing the yajna known as Viswajit. So because of the mercy, because of this shelter of the Brahmanas, he became extremely powerful, Bali. We were seeing that purport of 1.9.12, where it is mentioned, Vipra Dharma Chutashraya. If you have taken shelter of Vipra Dharma Chutashraya, you cannot be despondent, even in the trying circumstances. So when Bali Maharaj served with great care and attention and all, they told him that let's engage in performing the Viswajit Yajna. This is one point which we have to remember. Individually, our power is very tiny. We don't have that much of power. We can't do anything. But when we get empowered by the Lord, when we get empowered by the Vaishnavas, when we get empowered by the pure devotee spiritual master, impossible also becomes possible. Same thing happened when Prabhupada came here. Before coming to this place, Prabhupada was a poor sannyasi living in Radha Damodar temple, no money, nothing, 40 rupees in hand. But he was always praying to Rupa Goswami's Samadhi. He went to Advaita Acharya's house to pray before he starts this difficult mission. Always had strong faith in the words of his spiritual master. He became empowered. Just 2 trunks full of books, that was the weapon he carried. And when somebody is empowered, when he's speaking to the other person, actually he takes away the power of him. Those words uttered by Prabhupada, you see those interviews, even those press reporter when they are asking, or some TV this thing, or when Prabhupada is arriving, the way Prabhupada is answering, because of that empowerment, it shatters the layers of ignorance of people. Layers of ignorance it can shatter because it has that power. So when this Viswajit Yajna was performed by Bhrigu and by Sukracharya, and they performed for Viswajit Yajna, what happened? Immediately, when the ghee was offered in the fire of sacrifice, there appeared from the fire a celestial chariot covered with gold and silk. A chariot which is covered with gold and silk. There also appeared yellow horses like those of Indra, and a flag marked with a lion. So yellow horses, a chariot which is covered with gold and silk, and a flag which is marked with a lion. Immediately Bali Maharaj, just climbed that chariot, entered into that. A glided bow, 2 quivers of infallible arrows, and a celestial armor also appeared. Bali Maharaj's grandfather. Bali Maharaj has a very, interesting lineage. Brahma's son is Marichi, Marichi's son is Kashyap, Kashyap's son is Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu's son is Virochan, and Virochan's son is Bali Maharaj. Sorry, Hiranyakashipu's son is Prahlad, Prahlad's son is Virochan, and Virochan's son is Bali Maharaj. So you find in this tree, all kinds of fruits are there. Some demons, some devotees, great exalted devotees, Mahajan, like Prahlad. Brahma himself is a Mahajan. And Kashyap, who has got 2 wives, Diti and Aditi, where all the Devatas are also coming and Asuras are also coming. All kinds of things. And then Bali Maharaj, who himself is a Mahajan. Very interesting lineage. So a glided bow, 2 quivers of infallible arrows, and a celestial armor also appeared. Bali Maharaj's grandfather, Prahlad Maharaj, offered Bali a garland of flowers that would never fade. I had talked about this when we were talking about when you enter into the heaven. They'll give you a garland. Apparently that doesn't fade for some time. Then it starts fading. One petal becomes a little stale, and then slowly, when all the flowers are gone, then you're gone. But Bali Maharaj was given a garland by Prahlad that would never fade. And Sukracharya gave him a counsel. When Maharaj Bali had thus performed the special ritualistic ceremony advised by the Brahmanas and had received by their grace equipment for fighting, he circumambulated the Brahmanas, offered them obeisances. He also saluted Prahlad Maharaj and offered obeisances to him. So he's taking the blessings of Prahlad Maharaj, who's like a spiritual master. He's taking the blessings of all the Brahmanas, circumambulated them. After getting on the chariot given by Sukracharya, Bali Maharaj, decorated with a nice garland, put protective armor on his body, equipped himself with a bow, and took up a sword and quiver of arrows. When he sat down on the seat of the chariot, his arms decorated with golden bangles and his ears with sapphire earrings, he shone like a worshipable fire. You imagine what? See, it's not, as I said, remember the word power of empowerment. When somebody is taking shelter of pure devotees, is being blessed, he is receiving that power. Krishna Sakti Bina Nahitar Pravartan. We may go and talk so many things. Even that talking will not have impact on our own hearts unless empowered by the Lord, unless empowered by a pure devotee, unless empowered by Vaishnavas. So Bali Maharaj, like a fire, he entered into that chariot, bedecked with that armor, that garland, sword, the bow, and the 2 quivers of arrows. He was looking like fire. And when he assembled with his own soldiers and the demon chiefs, who were equal to him in strength, opulence, and beauty, they appeared as if they would swallow the sky and burn all directions with their vision. Of all those demoniac people, they were all equally powerful. They also, got into their chariot and they started. When they started, where they are going only that one place, heaven, to take the position of Indra. So when they started, it was as if they are going to swallow all directions, swallow the sky and burn all directions with their vision. After thus gathering the demoniac soldiers, Bali Maharaj departed for the opulent capital of Indra. Indeed, he seemed to make the entire surface of the world tremble. Of that power, that opulence he went. And seeing this, the demigods, especially headed by Indra, they could realize it's imminent danger. We don't have chance. So they went and consulted. Whom did he consult? Brihaspati. Brihaspati को पूछा अभी क्या करना है? Brihaspati बोला time खराब है. It's a very bad time. Take the back doors and go out. Otherwise, you will be gone. So these devatas, they have a special siddhi. They can transform their body into anything when they desire. So somebody became a bird, somebody became some squirrel, somebody became something. By the time Bali Maharaj with all his entourage came, somebody flew off. Indra, he would not realize, but they went, everybody, and the whole entire heaven was empty. There was nobody. And Bali Maharaj went and sat on the throne of King Indra. But you can't sit on the throne of Indra without having proper qualifications. So the sages and Sukracharya, they told that you should perform which sacrifice? Huh? Aswamedha Yajna. Prithu Maharaj had done 99. Still, Indra was trying to steal that horse and do something, some gadbad he was trying to do, so that the 100 sacrifices are not performed. Sitting on the throne is not enough. If you want to sustain your position, you must perform that Aswamedha Yajna. This was what was advised to our Bali Maharaj by Sukracharya. But interestingly, in this time, what is happening is, this devatas, they've gone out of heaven, they've all become birds and something, they're hiding, they're doing something, completely in distress, complete miseries. Seeing this, Aditi, the mother of all the demigods, she felt very aggrieved. A mother can take any amount of austerity for the well-being of her children, but a mother cannot tolerate the distress of her children. Prabhupada gives the example in 2.14. Anybody knows what is the verse 2.14? मात्रा. एक आदमी बोलो, हाथ उठाओ. Mataji knows. Prabhu knows. No? Okay, Mataji. So this verse, if you know, Matra Sparsastu Kaunteya Sitoshna Sukha Dukkha Daha Agama Apaina Anityas Tam Stitiksasva Bharata. Prabhupada gives two examples. One, the mother, even in hot, scorching heat, in a hot sun, in a summertime, goes to the kitchen to cook for her children. And he gives the second example of somebody who's a devotee, gets up early in the morning to take bath in cold water. So, and they're tolerating apparently, the heat and cold, and they're doing their duties. So, Aditi, when she saw that her children are distressed, she was completely in grief. She was very devastated. So she wanted to ask Kashyapa, is there anything that I can do? Is there any remedy? Because I can't see my children suffer so much. Kashyapa Muni, being a realized soul, was thinking in her mind how much attached this lady is to her children. Abhi time kharab chal raha hai. Wait, when the time changes, they will get their position back and they will rule. What is your problem? Prabhupada highlights this in this conversation between Aditi and Kashyap about our own position also. When we think we are the karta, we are the doer, and this whole material world is meant for my enjoyment, there is a false ego which develops. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasa ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. So I am the karta, I am the doer, and this whole material world is meant for my enjoyment. When that thought comes, then what happens is, as Bhagavatam says, Janasya mohoyam aham mameti. This is my family, I have to protect them. This is my body, Janasya moho, this is mine, this is me, and this is mine, my extended relatives. And I can go to any extent, forgetting who I am really. I am not this body. I am a spirit soul, part and parcel of the Lord. But this blinds, this illusory energy of the Lord blinds, though everything is done by Prakriti Kriyamanani, Gune Karmani Sarvasa, Ahankara Vimudhatma. Because of the false ego, I am thinking I am the doer, I will control, I will take care of this. So this is what Kashyap Muni is thinking in her mind, in his mind. Arey yaar, poor lady, how much she is attached to her children. Then Aditi could realize this, and she told, anyway, you have another wife also, Diti. So since her children are prospering, you will be like neutral. I can't be like that. I need to know something. I need to do something. So seeing this, Kashyapa Muni advised her that you do a vrata, which is called Payo Brata. Payo Brata, Payo means milk. Brata means is a vow, Payo Brata. So you practice this Payo Brata, you satisfy Vishnu, and then Vishnu will take care of your distress or your problems. This is again another very important principle which we should remember. Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udaradhi tibrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. Akama, whether you are desireless, whether you have desires. But watch out your desires, what you are asking to the Lord. because they get fulfilled. And when they get fulfilled, we realize that we don't need them anymore. Like it happened in the case of Dhruva, where he says, Kachan Vichinvan Api Divya Ratnam. Kachan, I was looking for broken pieces of glasses. I've seen you, O Lord. You are like the Divya Ratnam. What I was asking for is all useless. So akama, but anyway, the principle is akama sarva kamava moksha kama udaradhi. Whether you don't have desire, you are full of desires, you want moksha, or you are udaradhi, you are just completely neutral. Akama sarva kamava moksha kama udaradhi tibrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param. You should, param purusha, you should engage in bhakti to that param purusha. So this is what Kashyap Muni told, that you do this payavrata. Anybody have heard this payavrata? I have told this earlier also. Very interesting thing Bhagavatam shares. In 12 days he could see Krishna face to face. कितना दिन में? 12 दिन में भगवान को देख सकते हो. Imagine if somebody tells you that you follow this strictly, and then 12 दिन में भगवान देख सकते हो. So one should definitely be very curious. अरे यार मैं इतना मेहनत कर रहा हूँ and I'm trying, भगवान तो दिखते नहीं है. 12 दिन में. Yes, in 12 days. And it happened. Proof. Aditi. Well, the Lord came in front of her. But very interestingly, that is why it is important to read the purports. You may be interested in getting some cheap this thing. Okay, ek payavrata karke main bhagwan ko palunga. But Prabhupada clarifies in his purport, very interestingly this purport, worth paying attention. It's a big purport, but I have taken one small portion of it. How the devotees of Krishna, or who are engaged in Krishna consciousness, can get the same benefits of payavrata without doing it. The Krishna consciousness movement is also Vishnu Aradhana, or worship of Lord Vishnu, according to the age. The Payobrata method of Vishnu Aradhana was enunciated long, long ago by Kashyap Muni to his wife Aditi in the heavenly planets. And the same process is bona fide on earth even now. Especially for this age of Kali, the process accepted by the Krishna consciousness movement is to open hundreds and thousands of Vishnu temples. Temples of Radha Krishna, Jagannath, Balaram, Sitaram, Gauranitai, and so on. Performing prescribed worship in such temples of Vishnu, and thus worshipping the Lord, is as good as performing the Payovrata ceremony recommended here. So performing prescribed worship in such temples of Vishnu, and thus worshipping the Lord, is as good as performing the Payovrata ceremony recommended here. Payovrata ceremony is performed from the 1st to the 13th day of the bright fortnight of the moon. But in our Krishna consciousness movement, Lord Vishnu is worshipped in every temple according to a schedule of 24 hours of engagement in performing kirtan, chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, offering palatable food to Lord Vishnu, and distributing this food to Vaishnavas and others. These are authorized activities. And if the members of the Krishna consciousness movement stick to these principles, they will achieve the same result as one gains by observing the Payovrata ceremony. The beauty of the Sampradaya, the beauty of the disciplic succession is, these acharyas who come at different times, they understand the essence, they just change the packaging. Product is same, product is not different. So Prabhupada is saying this is equally applicable in this planet Earth, in this age of Kali, but we don't need. The product which Prabhupada is giving is the same. It's the original, pristine, quintessential, unadulterated, untainted. That product when we receive, effect is same. So the acharyas are expert in presenting, in giving it based on the time, place and circumstances. So Prabhupada is saying you don't need, because if you are engaged in this deity worship in our temples and all, you will get the same result. The essence of all auspicious activities, such as performing yajna, giving in charity, observing vratas, and undergoing austerities, is included in the Krishna consciousness movement. The members of this movement should immediately and sincerely follow the processes already recommended. So the Lord appeared, and when the Lord appeared in front of Aditi, Aditi was awestruck. She didn't know what to say. The Lord has appeared in just 12-13 days. She did it fully. I mean, the exact process, what to be done, what need not be done, everything was given by Kashyapa to Aditi, and Aditi did it to the last letter, and the Lord appeared. And when the Lord appeared, Aditi was awestruck, what to say. And the Lord said, in your previous life also I have appeared as your son, as Prishnigarbha and Sutapa. And now also I am going to appear. My name is going to be Upendra, and so on and so forth. He gives the assurance. And he says, once I appear, I will go to the arena. I'll take care of Bali Maharaj, and your children will be all right. So the Lord appears, and in some of the pastimes, because this is a Leela Avatara, the Lord doesn't have all these childhood pastimes like Krishna had or Lord Ram had. Like Narsimadev. Narsimadev, who's his parents? नरसिंहदेव के पेरेंट्स का नाम बताओ. या नहीं, नरसिम्हादेव का पेरेंट्स ही नहीं है, वो ऐसे पिलर से निकले डायरेक्टली स्ट्रेट टू एक्शन, राइट. देयर इज नथिंग दैट देयर इज अ you see a Bal Narsimha going somewhere and then growing up. It all doesn't happen. So similarly here also, Vamanadev, he appeared as a dwarf from the womb of Aditi. He came out, but he was wearing already. He was having some dress and all, and he was dwarf, 2.5 feet or something. Bhagavatam mentions. And when he came, when the great sage saw the Lord as the brahmachari dwarf Vamana, they were certainly very pleased. Thus they placed before them Kashyapa Muni, the Prajapati, and performed all the ritualistic ceremonies, such as the birthday ceremony. So on the same day, birthday ceremony happened, Upanayana ceremony happened, and the Lord also walked out. Same day. All on the same day it is happening, and the Lord walked to the arena where the Aswamedha Yajna was being performed by Bali Maharaj. At the sacred thread ceremony of Vamanadev, the sun god personally uttered the Gayatri mantra. So the Gayatri mantra was uttered by sun god. And the sacred thread ceremony, the Upanayana happened on that day. Brihaspati offered the sacred thread, and Kashyapa Muni offered a straw belt. Mother Earth gave him a deer skin, and the demigod of the moon, who is the king of the forest, gave him a Brahma Danda. His mother Aditi gave him a cloth for underwear, and the deity, that is a kaupian that was given by Aditi, deity presiding over the heavenly kingdom, offered him an umbrella. O king, Lord Brahma offered a water pot to the inexhaustible Supreme Personality of Godhead. The 7 sages offered him kushagras, and Mother Saraswati gave him a string of Rudraksha beads. When Vamandev had thus been given the sacred thread, Kubera, the king of the Yakshas, gave him a pot for begging alms. And Mother Bhagavati, the wife of Lord Shiva or Parvati, first gave him the alms, the Bhiksham Devi, because he is a brahmachari, Brahmana, and is carrying this thing. So he got everything in, and the first alms were given by Parvati. Having thus been welcomed by everyone, Lord Vamanadev, the best of the brahmacharis, exhibited his Brahman effulgence. So he became, as I was mentioning, unlike the dwarfs that we would have seen in our lives, who appear very ugly, very not so attractive, not very ugly, but they look very different. The Lord exhibited his Brahman effulgence. He is the Supreme Lord. Thus he surpassed in beauty that entire assembly which was filled with great saintly Brahmanas. So Lord, straight he walked into the arena where the sacrifice is being performed. After Lord Sri Vamanadev set a sacrificial fire, he offered worship and performed a fire sacrifice on the sacrificial field. When the Lord heard that Bali Maharaj was performing Aswamedha sacrifices under the patronage of Brahmanas belonging to Bhrigu dynasty, the Supreme Lord, who is full in every respect, proceeded there to show his mercy to Bali Maharaj. By his weight, he pushed down the earth with every step. So imagine, these are all, we see some Spider-Man, He-Man, and some modern this thing, and we get animated. We know it is all fake. Spider-Man kahan jayega wo? The Lord is walking, and by his every step, he's pushing down the earth. And he reached there with his all bright, shining effulgence. While engaged in performing the sacrifice in the field known as Bhrigu Kacha. Bhrigu Kacha is the present day Bharuch. Prabhupada says it's in the northern direction of Narmada River. So that is called Bhrigu Kach. On the northern bank of Narmada River, the Brahminical priests, the descendants of Bhrigu, saw Vamandev to be like the sun rising nearby. As if the sun has risen, the sun is already there in the sky. But when the Lord comes with his Brahman effulgence, like thousands, millions of suns together. And he reached in that arena. Now comes the twist. We may have got about 10-15 minutes, but pay attention. So, Bali Maharaj saw a beautiful, bright, effulgent dwarf Brahmana has walked in. What did he do? How did he welcome him? He went and washed his feet, and he took that water, that is called Charanamrit, and kept on his head. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, this is the beginning of Bali Maharaj becoming a Mahajan. The water which has washed the feet of the Lord like Shiva, who's carrying it, the Ganges on the head, it can purify our existence forever. The same Lord, he just washed his feet and put this thing on his head and told this Brahmana, "Oh Brahmana, you look so bright, so effulgent. Looks like you have come here with some desire. You have come for asking something. Ask me anything. I can give you a big tract of land. I can give you a kingdom. I can give you gold. I can give you a village. I can give you a nice wife. If you are looking for a Brahmanic, a daughter of a Brahmana, I can arrange for that. Ask me what you want." What did Bali ask? What did Vamanadev ask? He said, "I don't need enough. I don't need a lot of things. I just need whatever is required for me. And what is it? I need 3 paces of land, not by your feet, but by my feet." So imagine you got a chance to meet the billionaire, the richest man in the whole world. I don't know who it is. Is it Jeff Bezos? No. Musk. So you get a chance to meet him, and he's sitting with open arm, this thing, and very relaxed. Yeah. Madhav, ask what you want to ask. Very happily, Madhav, okay. And then after a lot of deliberation, if you say, "I just want 10 cents. 10 cents. Elon Musk will also think to himself, should I laugh or cry? What do I do with this? कम से कम मेरा position देख के तो पूछना चाहिए भाई. So that is what Bali Maharaj also would have thought. Hey, I thought you are an intelligent Brahmana. You are asking for anybody who asks me forever in his life, he doesn't have to beg. You are asking for 3 pieces of land. This is where, but Vamanadev replies is something which is worth meditating. He says, "Yadra chaya popanenna santushto vartate sukham. Na santushta stribhir loker ajitatmo pasiditaha pasaditaihi." What is the translation of this? One should be satisfied with whatever he achieves by his previous destiny, for discontent can never bring happiness. A person who is not self-controlled will not be happy even with possessing the 3 worlds. Santushta vartate sukham. One has to learn this principle, because this is coming from the mouth of Vamanadev. He's telling, if we are not satisfied with what we have, and if our senses and mind are not controlled, even if the 3 worlds possession is given to us, we will not be happy. A person who is not self-controlled will not be happy even with possessing the 3 worlds. The principle of satisfaction is a very important thing. This is what Bali Maharaj. Indirectly, Vamandev is telling, even Bali, despite the fact that you have got 3 worlds, still you are not satisfied. You're still doing this. Bali Maharaj has one weakness of heart. That is his Mahatvakanksha, or this ambition, very extremely ambitious to have, because coming in the parampara, Hiranyakashipu, all of them had those, big ambitions. So he also wanted to become the controller of the matter, proprietor of everything that he can survey. So, what is the name? Vamanadev is saying, Santushto Bhartate Sukham. I'll quickly go to one verse, very interesting verse. This comes in Bhagavatam. It says, Kalena snana sauchabhyam samskares tapasaijyaya suddhyanti danai santushtya drabyani atmana vidyaya. There are different things in our life. If we know, if we are using some object, and if it is in its purest form, we will never get contaminated. And there are different methods of purification for different objects. Kalena is time. For example, let's say, if I've got this lid over here, and I can see there are some marks, then I'll take some detergent and I'll wash it, then this becomes clean. But imagine if I show it to someone and who doesn't know what detergent is, and he thinks that this can be applied to everything that I have. So he takes his phone and puts some detergent and washes it, saying that I've seen some marks in this. It will not work. So the different objects have different purification methods, which can bring it to the pure stage, the original stage. Kalena. How many of you are from Mumbai? Nobody? Have you stayed in Mumbai? Have you been to Mumbai? So in Mumbai, you see those railway tracks. If you go early in the morning, before the train comes, that is being used for something else, isn't it? for reliving and for people to, disgusting sight, but people use it. Who goes and cleans there? Is there anybody who goes there and cleans? No. By the sunshine, by the water, by all those things, it gets dried up, it gets vanished. Kalena, by time, some things gets cleaned. Snana, how do you clean your body? The body gets cleaned by bathing, not by putting some deo, chandan, vandan, ye sab karne se nahi hoga. Snana. Sauchabhyam, snana sauchabhyam. So, for the body, it is recommended that you have to take bath every day. For the brahmanas, at least 2 times, morning and evening, to maintain that sauchabhyam. Samskara is, how does the birth become purified? Janmana jayate sudraha, samskarat bhaved vichaha. Janmana jayate. We're all born ignorant. We have no idea what the value of human life is. Janmana jayate sudra. Though we say, अरे मैं त्रिवेदी हूँ, चतुर्वेदी हूँ, पंचवेदी तो नहीं, चतुर्वेदी, त्रिवेदी, वेदी, जो भी है, मैं इतना बड़ा बड़ा हूँ, कुछ नहीं है. जन्मना जायते शूद्रा. Because we don't have, we are ignorant. Samskarat bhaved dvijah. Our birth becomes purified by samskaras. Tapasa ijjaya. Tapasa, by austerity, our senses become controlled, purified. By austerity. People who cannot take austerity, cannot even control, fit for nothing. So the senses become purified by tapasa. Ijjaya. By worship, suddhyanti dane. By worship and by dane, by doing charity. By doing charity, what happens? Suddhyanti ijjaya. So the money that we have, money when it is used in service of the Lord, and by doing charity to the right person, that becomes suddhyanti, that becomes pure. You may say, नहीं, मैं तो पूरा crisp, एकदम कड़क नोट लेता हूँ बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका से, चेज बैंक से, वो तो प्योर ही है. नहीं. Any activity that we do in the material world, even if I don't do myself anything, it's still contaminated. It's a contaminated earning. That earning can be purified by engaging in Krishna's service. Ijjaya suddhyanti dane santushtya. This is the point which I wanted to tell. Mind can be purified by satisfaction. If the mind has to be purified and a person doesn't have satisfaction, it can never be purified because there are desires. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya aparata chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadho na vidhiyate. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam. Then the mind is attracted to bhoga and aishwarya, aparata chetasam. The intelligence is stolen away, kidnapped. Then vyavasayatmika, Krishna consciousness will not happen. Everything else will happen. Suddhyanti danai santushtya dravyani atmana vidyaya. So santushta is required for mind, and dravyani atmatma vidyaya. You want to purify your existence, you want to purify the knowledge, intelligence, then invest in your self-realization. Invest in the knowledge of the self. So the translation is, O king, by the passing of time, land and other material possessions are purified. By bathing, the body is purified, and by being cleansed, unclean things are purified. By purificatory ceremonies, birth is purified. By austerity, the senses are purified. And by worship and charity offered to the brahmanas, material possessions are purified. By satisfaction, the mind is purified. And by self-realization or Krishna consciousness, the soul is purified. So that is what Bali Maharaj was told by Vamanadev, that Santushtya, the beautiful verse, Santushta vartate sukham. If you are not satisfied with what you have, then what is the point? I mean, you can never be satisfied even if you possess all the three words. So then, hearing this, Sukracharya explodes. He said, Baba, enough. You are not realizing this is Vishnu who has come in the disguise of a dwarf Brahmana, and he is trying to take away everything from you, O Bali. In the guise of taking 3 paces of land, he will take away everything. In fact, in his first step, he will take the lower planetary systems. By his body and middle part, he will take the middle planetary system. And by raising his hand, by raising his feet, the one foot, he will take the upper planetary system. And you will be left with nothing. You don't have even place for the 3rd pace of land, and you will suffer in hell because of giving this promise. So he said, "Are you fool? So far I've been consulting you, I've been giving you guidance, I've been giving you counsel, and now for such a big decision you didn't even bother to ask me." Still, nothing wrong has happened. Still there is time, because you have not uttered the word Om Tat Sat. You have not told that. You still can escape from this. Now put yourself in the shoes of Bali Maharaj. One side, he has got this, the whole three planetary systems which he has been coveted, which he has been eagerly desiring, somehow or other I should just get this. He has got that. He has got his blessings of Sukracharya, who brought him back to life, who has given him life, his guru, and everybody on one side, the big stake. And on the other side, if he does that, he becomes a soul slave. There is nothing that will remain with him. Such a big decision. When the stakes are high, it's very difficult for us to decide. But this is where Bali Maharaj becomes a Mahajan. He discards the order of Sukracharya. Everything at stake, his entire kingdom, his power, position, his guru who has brought him life, whom he is serving, everything in one moment he discards. And he keeps his words that he had given it to Vamanadev. I'll quit that. So this is a very beautiful verse which is spoken by Sukadev Goswami. Balirevam grihapatihi kulacharyana bhasitaha tusnim bhutva kshanam rajan. Tusnim bhutva kshanam rajan. Very important word that is used. Sukadev Goswami said, O King Parikshit, when Bali Maharaj was thus advised by his spiritual master Sukracharya, his family priest, he remained silent for some time. And then after full deliberation, he replied to his spiritual master as follows. Tusnim bhutva kshanam rajan. He became silent and deliberated. Actually, our human life is meant to respond to situations. All the sadhanas that we do, all the spiritual practices that we are following or trying to do, all the scriptures that we are reading, all the chanting that we are doing, it is meant for us to take the right response. Between a stimulus and the response, there is a choice which is always there. And the choice that lies with a human life, a human being who's trained, who's going through the spiritual practice to do the right responsibility, to take the right responsibility and do things. This is exactly what Bali Maharaj did. Of course, the Lord will never put us in a situation where He is taking away everything from us. If that happens, our devotion will go. Or the Lord will never put us in a situation where we are thrown out of some cliff or put in some oil or made to drink some poison. That will never happen. But we always there is a stimulus and a response, and we have a freedom to choose. Whether we are taking the sides of Dharma, Vipra, Achyuta, or we are doing things on our own. That decides how am I making progress in my spiritual life. So Vamanadev expands, and in his 2 feet he took everything. Everything was covered, and in seeing that, all these associates of Bali Maharaj, the demons, they started attacking Vamanadev. So Vamanadev mystically, his Vishnudutas also appeared there, and they just smashed these demons. So the demons, all of them, they ran away. Somebody flew to some lower planetary system. They disappeared from there. Nobody was there. And then Garudadev comes and he binds Bali. One moment, look at the contrast. One moment he was having the opulence of all 3 planetary systems. The very next moment, by keeping his words, he has become a slave. Garudadev has bound him with a rope. So at this time, the Lord speaks something which is very interesting. Although bereft of his riches, fallen from his original position, defeated and arrested by his enemies, rebuked, deserted by his relatives, everybody left, flew, and friends, although suffering the pain of being bound, although rebuked and cursed by his spiritual master, Bali Maharaj, being fixed in his vow, did not give up his truthfulness. Actually, it's a very important point. Even Mother Earth, she says, she doesn't get overburdened by the increase of the population. She gets overburdened by the truthlessness. So Bali Maharaj, being fixed in his vow, did not give up his truthfulness. It was certainly with pretension that I spoke about religious principles, but he did not give up religious principles. Today morning we were saying about that. We have been seeing in Bhagavatam, Dharma, Vipra Dharma Chutashraya. Dharma, the religious principle. He didn't give up. These are the trying circumstances when a person is tested. Based on our ability, the Lord will not give us a test which we can't handle. And Bali Maharaj came out with flying colors. That's how he becomes a Mahajan. He was certainly with pretension that I spoke about religious principles, but he did not give up religious principles, for he is true to his word. So look at this position. At that time, Prahlad Maharaj also comes and he says, this is the biggest moment of, this is the greatest moment of self-realization for Bali. This is the greatest blessing of the Lord. Even Bali Maharaj was shedding tears of gratitude. And the Lord, what is this going on, all this? Bali Maharaj is being bound, Bali Maharaj is a devotee, why the Lord is doing all these things? The Lord was testing Bali, whether Bali will keep his words or not. The verse which, this song which Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Manasa Deha Geho Jo Kichu Maro, or Pilu Tuhapade Nanda Kishore. Manasa Deha Geho, whatever, this is Atma Samarpan, completely self-surrender. I am giving it to you. Bali came out flying colors. What Vaman they promised him? Vaman they promised him that you go down to Sutala planet and you be there in Sutala planet, which is also done by Vishwakarma. It is the same architect who did heaven, and it is more opulent than heaven. You be there in Sutala planet. Second, next Manvantara, you will become Indra. Third thing, the Lord said, I will be the doorkeeper of yours. See, what the Lord gets purchased. I will be the doorkeeper of yours till the time you become Indra. So the Lord is the doorkeeper now in Sutala planet for Bali Maharaj. Why? Because the Bali Maharaj had a fear. What if, with this demoniac people, if his mind gets contaminated or polluted? The Lord says, I'll be the doorkeeper. I'll be protecting you. Not just you from external this thing, even your mind I'll be protecting. So then what happens in this? Prahlad is satisfied, happy. Bali is happy. Indra is happy because Indra got back his kingdom. He is happy. Aditi is happy. He did all those things. Everything is happy. There was one man who still left out. Sukracharya. Sukracharya, seeing this whole thing, because he was the one, he said, when Bali didn't listen, actually he said, you go and rot in hell. Something like that he uttered and he left that place. But hearing this whole thing, and when the Lord is saying that I'll become your doorkeeper, there is a transformation in the heart of Sukracharya. And he says this verse, you can repeat after me, with this we'll close. Mantratas tantratas chidram. Desha kalarha vastutaha. Sarvam karoti nischidram. Anusankirtanam tava. It's a very beautiful verse which is spoken by Sukracharya. The translation is, there may be discrepancies in pronouncing the mantras and observing the regulative principles. And moreover, there may be discrepancies in regard to time, place, person and paraphernalia. But when your Lordship's holy name is chanted, everything becomes faultless. Everything becomes faultless. Because there are so many things which are not in our control. I don't know exactly how to worship. I may be committing so many offenses. I may be doing so many things. I have got still so many sinful desires. But he's telling, Sarvam karoti nischidram anusankirtanam tava. But when your Lordship's holy name is chanted, everything becomes faultless. One last question which always comes to my mind, which we have been discussing in the morning also. Why does the Lord put the devotees into so many difficulties? You see the Pandavas, you see Prahlad, you see this Bali, everything is taken away. Why? Why it happens like this? One of the answers for this pure devotees, why the Lord puts them in so many difficulties, is to purify and to glorify. Purify and glorify. A gold, if it has got little contamination, if you put it in a fire, it comes out shining, if it is really gold. If it has got contamination, it will become dark or whatever it is. So for, when these pure devotees are put into that kind of a situation, to glorify their position, the Lord does that and purify. They become even pure. They show by their examples, this thing. Actually, Bali Maharaj is called a Kripa Siddha. He's not Sadhana Siddha. By the mercy, by the blessings of Prahlad, by the blessings of Krishna, he became purified. Often I give this example. If you have something which has got a dent, a container or something, some vessel, it has got a dent, and if you have to rectify that, you have to give some support from within, and then with a hammer you have to hammer it. So that support thing is the blessings of Vipras, blessings of pure devotees. If you have that blessings of the devotees, then this hammering which is done by the Lord, where he puts you in these difficult situations for your own purification, becomes easy. So we need to have so much faith and surrender on the words of our acharyas and the power of the association of devotees. I'll stop here with this 4 verses which says the glory of hearing the pastime of Vamanadev. Maharaj Parikshit, pleasure of your dynasty, I have now described to you everything about the wonderful activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vamanadev. Those who hear about this are certainly freed from all the results of sinful activities. So all of you are freed from all the results of sinful activities. One who is subject to death cannot measure the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Tribikrama, Lord Vishnu, any more than he can count the number of atoms on the entire planet Earth. No one, whether born already or destined to take birth, is able to do this. This has been sung by the great sage Vasishta. If one hears about the uncommon activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his various incarnations, he is certainly elevated to the higher planetary system or even brought back home back to Godhead. And the last one, whenever the activities of Vamanadev are described in the course of a ritualistic ceremony, whether the ceremony be performed to please the demigods, to please one's forefathers in Pitraloka, or to celebrate a social event like a marriage, that ceremony should be understood to be extremely auspicious. So we have done an extremely auspicious activities in Sri Radha Damodar temple by hearing the pastimes of Lord Vamanadev. There's a lot to learn, a lot to understand. But with limited time and with limited understanding and application of what we have read, this much we can see. And let us pray on this auspicious day of Vamanadev's appearance, that and to Bali Maharaj both, that all those anarthas that we have, which keep us engaged in this material world, which keeps us distracted from surrendering to the Lord, which keeps us mad really, maddening in this material world, keeps us absorbed. Let those distractions go from our heart. Let the heart become pure. Let me have value for this devotees association, the blessings of spiritual master, and so that I can engage in the devotional service of the Lord. We'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki, Vamanadeva ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. So we have a beautiful arti for the Lord. Our pujari is ready, waiting, and we'll all chant nicely.